Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Duelist34, and in today's video, we'll be going over a core portion of our guide, which is movement. If you have not watched any of the previous videos about some of the guides that I have about basic mechanics of the game, I recommend you go watch some of those. But today's video is going to be about movement, so I hope you enjoy. Okay, so we have our opponent defeated here, and we're just going to get right into it. So I want to start off by clarifying there is no right or wrong way to play the game currently. Whatever your play style is or whatever benefits you, that's what you should continue to use. But I am just clarifying that this is my play style, and there is no right or wrong way. So with that out of the way, movement, I feel once I improved my movement versus the opponents, everything got better in duels. So movement is a big key to winning fights and to just overall better gameplay, I feel. So starting off with movement, there's two types of movement that I like to call a sprint and a jog. A sprint is obviously when you're holding shift and running as fast as you can, and a jog is when you're not holding shift and you're running. Both of these phases are done when you're not in stance, basically stationary. So those are the two forms of movement. Now the other forms of movement are what I like to call a lunge, a back pedal, and a strafe. These forms of movement are all done while you're so-called in stance, and I call in stance when you are aware of where you're paying attention to where your weapon are, and you are in posture. So once again, in stance, we'll start from the beginning. We have sprint, we have a jog, we get in stance, now we have a strafe, we have a back pedal, and we have a lunge. Also, I would like to go over, you have movement with your arms, obviously, and legs correspond with that, but arms mainly are what you pay attention to. And we want to count this because this is movement. This can, dictate whether you get hit or whether you do not get hit. This dictates whether you land a hit fast or whether you land a hit slow, whether you land a powerful hit or whether you land a, soft hit. So this movement also is to be paid attention to, and it'll also correlate to how we want to do our movement techs when we start going into how to use movement. So here, we're able to come above, to the side, and under. I would say 360 degrees, I would consider that, and back and forth. We're paying attention to that because all that's going to correlate into our movement. Now on to the important part, and that's how to move and how to use movement. And the answer to that question is your intention. And when I say intention, with this game, being very intentional rewards you. So when I say that, I don't mean you're just moving around, trying to seem evasive. That means if I'm in my stance and he throws a swing, I'm strafing because either one, I want to parry him actively or passively, or I'm trying to evade the shot and return. So I know I didn't explain that the best, but simply what I'm saying is you're very intentional with what you're doing. So you're not making movements for no reason, because one, that's using stamp, two, that's taking away from your opportunity to strike, and three, that's I would consider not the correct way to use movement. So if you want to practice this, you can just hop in with some of the opponents, turn the damage all the way up, and just sit in the pocket with them. Practice your movement, evading shots, parrying on and off, and don't really throw swings. Just get in the feel of being in the pocket and being in the danger zone, I like to call. So the danger zone is when you are in striking distance of your opponent. You really need to get used to sitting in this danger zone. Evading shots, parrying on and off, counter striking when you can, and really just get comfortable with being in striking range of your opponent. If PvP does happen to this game, which I really hope they bless us with, you really want to get used to just being in striking range and really being as efficient as you can. Okay guys, live demonstration time. So I have my opponent here. As he's coming, I'm retreating. I see the hand, the weapon is in his main hand. So obviously as he's pushing me, I'm going to back up. I keep my sword obviously in parry range. He's still pushing, he hit me there, that's fine. I want to keep backpedaling. Now I strafe to the right towards his counter hand. Strafe away from his hand again. Come here, I'm down. Now if I want to start to get a little aggressive, I posture up here. Stay in parry zone. Evade that shot here. Counter strafe him. Keeping my weapon always in parry zone. And then I can start to mix it up. He starts to come in. I start to throw. Here. I catch him. He's still coming in. Still in stand. Still strafing. Weapon still in parry zone. So mainly I want to do what I want to do. Stay away from that main hand until I want to counter rotate it. Keep my parries up and then take strikes when it's open. He's coming in, strafing him, staying in parry zone, taking my strike when it's open, striking again, back in parry zone, and boom, we get him. Sheath for style, and there we go. So to end our video, we're going to go over the last portion of the movement guide, which is centering. Centering is a term commonly used in FPS games for keeping your crosshair centered to where you think the opponent is going to be. And it's kind of the similar concept in Half Sword. So in Half Sword, when you're fighting, the camera is always moving out of frame, essentially. And you always have to correct it. So centering is a big portion of movement, and it is how you're going to be efficient when you're hitting 100%, because if you're not facing them, you're not hitting them. And it's going to be efficient for you with your poise and also evading shots. All right guys, so centering, I'm going to use one of my favorite weapons here. Always keeping my opponent in focus. As you can see, I have the capability of wandering off here. As you might notice, a lot of new players, you might notice their screen like wandering like this while they're swinging, and that's just bad centering. So here, if I get good centering again, I'm here, low gravity here, and reading my opponent. My opponent comes, I backpedal, push him back with my weapon, backpedal more. He starts to get aggressive, I can counter strafe the hand, come strafe his main hand again if I want to, wait for him, backpedal again, push him away with my weapon. Possibly get aggressive when I need to, like here. But always the focus is keeping my opponent in the center of my screen. If you just like this and you're just fighting them, just trying to swing, more than likely you'll probably hit the guy. But if PvP is ever to get blessed with this game, you're really gonna have to focus up on centering. So always keeping my opponent in the middle. Doesn't matter if I have to backpedal, counter strafe towards the main hand, doesn't matter. Take my swing. He's coming up again. Take me another swing, and I hit him in the shoulder. So centering, always want your opponent in focus. Well guys, finally we've reached the end of our guide today. I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys can practice some of these techniques out there in your next duels. And yeah, I'm Duelist. See you in the next one.